Welcome to Pursuit of the Paranormal live stream, coming to you on this lovely Friday night from Manchester and Oxford. Welcome, everybody.
Yes, welcome along if you're joining us. Wow.
That's
what an intro. How are you, Ash?
Play with new toys, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not as good as the sound effect on the Zencaster one that we use.
No.
That nobody hears apart from us.
Anyway, how are you, Greg?
I'm all right. Busy week. We've been podcasting loads this week and trying to get ahead of ourselves slightly on recordings. So we've had a full-on week interviewing all sorts of people. How about you?
Yeah, it's been a good week off work, so that's been awesome. Catching up with the podcast. I'm going Glasgow on Sunday for a week.
Not to watch Harry Styles.
No, going to watch Green Day. A bit different music to Harry Styles, but they're going to go to some of the UFO hotspot areas in Glasgow.
Cool.
Check them out. And Bonnie Bridge and the Beckman Woods and the A70 incident, all these different famous UFO cases. So
awesome.
Go
That'll
check
be
them
good.
out.
As long as the weather's all right.
Well, yeah, it's been a good week. But, Thompson, glad you like the intro. Got to play with the new toys. I got a spooky voice.
Oh dear. Don't encourage him, everybody. That's,
Mike's in the chat. Are you in, Mike? A recent guest on the pod that came on last week's episode.
Yeah, last week's episode.
Great chat.
That was a great chat. Definitely. So, what's been happening?
Quite a lot. It's been a very, very busy week. We talked about our episode which came out today. We talked about the NASA stuff and the Alexander stuff and a couple of the recent videos.
Yeah.
That have come out, like the balloon that was seen at the Jubilee. That was caught on camera.
Apparently a balloon. We have slightly different opinions on that, I think.
What do you guys reckon? You've seen the videos, the Jubilee video. What do you reckon that is?
Well, I know what I think it is. Not. I can't see it's a balloon. Ash. I know you think it is a balloon. And we had a discussion the other day on an episode of the podcast that's been released today. Okay. Controversial.
I think it's a balloon.
I can't.
Good opinion.
I can't see it's a balloon. How does a balloon travel that fast?
It's just closer to the mic. Yeah, not the mic. The camera.
I don't see that.
Don't forget, you've got these. If it is near the planes, they're flying at however fast. They're going to be the wind stream from the jets as well. Could propel it a little bit forward.
But the balloon goes across the streams, as it were.
It appears to. It's not.
Appears to, yeah.
Not the best quality video. It appears. What something appears to do and what it actually does is a bit different.
Okay. I know we had we had a bit of a discussion about what we thought it was, and I know Frank on the UFO Thinker, I think he was a balloon, swayed towards the balloon.
Dave wasn't swayed.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. And I don't think I am. I can see why you'd think it's a balloon. But in the absence of further sort of evidence and photographs and whatnot, I can't see how we can fully conclude what it was.
Well, talking of UFO videos, a couple to share. on
That
the
was
stream.
nicely swept away there, Ash. Yeah.
And these are probably pretty exclusive, I think.
Yeah.
May have not been seen before. Let me get the first one. So these were seen in Oxford, I believe.
Oxfordshire, yeah.
So this is the first one. Not much of a video, but you can see obviously a couple of lights and then another light appears. Yeah. Kind of in the line. And then goes off.
And then comes back on.
Strange. So I know you're a drone operator.
Yes.
So could these be drones?
Yeah, they could be drones. The vicinity of this picture, and it's one of the questions we asked the person that sent it to us, was which direction you were facing, because where this video was taken is fairly close to where military activity takes place. But based on the direction that this person, so this was in Aston, in just outside Witney in Oxfordshire. And for those that have listened to the podcast or live in the area, they'll know that we've got Bryce Norton Air Base right next to us. And hence my question to the person was, which direction were you facing? Because if they were facing towards Bryce Norton, maybe it was a plane. But this person was actually facing away, almost directly away from Bryce Norton, over towards sort of Abingdon and Didcot area, for those that sort of know. So sort of almost the opposite way. But the video's not really long enough for us to fully sort of put what our thoughts are on it.
It's a shame because a lot of people seem to record something and it's still there and they just stop recording for some reason. So you only see half a video and they say, "Oh, it's here for another 5 minutes, but why didn't you record?"
So I'll get the wording the person used, because that was a question as well. They said that this was actually filmed back in October last year.
Right.
Person was reluctant to share the video initially because online comments, as we know. So once finished recording, the lights were all illuminated and simultaneously started falling while swinging left to right and then flashed brightly and disappeared. However, the direction they were facing was towards the Didcot Way, which was opposite the direction of both Bryce Norton and Fairford. No idea what it was. Didn't film the whole thing because they wanted to experience it with their own eyes instead of through a camera. And they were more than happy to elaborate on what they saw. So, yeah, that was the reason why it wasn't so long.
Well, you Thomas, can still hold it next year. And
yeah,
still,
definitely. It could be RAF testing jet thrusters, but I don't know.
You're going to say if it was like maybe towards Bryce Norton, like some sort of exercise or something going on.
Yeah, with Bryce, they tend to fly away from that direction. The runway, so where the poster is facing, almost directly behind them would be Bryce Norton Air Base. And the planes actually take off, usually the opposite way to the poster is facing, just because I can see the runway almost from my house. So I know which direction they take off. The majority of the time is away from that. So yeah, an interesting video, slightly inconclusive because it's only 5 seconds long or 10 seconds long, but an interesting one considering that the day before that we were also had another UFO video from Witney as well.
Okay, so video 2.
buffering. You still there, Ash? I think Ash may have left me momentarily. I'm not sure if it's him or me. Excuse us whilst we resolve this technical issue. So yeah, Ash is trying to play a video. I don't know if anybody can hear me. Yep, I think I'm still live. So Ash has left us. So he's trying to play a video that was sent to us incidentally the day before the video you've just seen was posted. It was also posted on a local site in Witney, of which obviously sparked interest on the local spotted page, and I reached out and said to send the podcast a message because we'd be interested to know a little bit more, which the person did, and Ash has got the video, so I'll wait for him to rejoin us. I'm not sure where he's gone, but please stick with me while I waffle on my own. But the person has suggested and advised the time and date of the video on the next video you're going to see. And me and Ash, as part of our investigations, because we don't just take everything on face value, I pulled up Google Maps because I know the area, and Ash is obviously the resident UFO expert. So with that, I was able to point out which direction the video is being filmed from, because again, asked the poster which direction they're facing, and they advised which way they were pointing at the time, which allowed me to get a rough idea of potentially what they might be seeing, what the line of sight was between Oxford Airport and Bryce Norton. And they were in Witney, facing away from Bryce Norton again. And that's the main thing in this particular area, that there are a lot of military airplane, especially at the moment with everything happening in Ukraine. And Bryce Norton, for people who don't know, is the busiest and largest military airport in the UK now, and currently serves most of the armed forces, both in the UK and people travelling through from, say, America and whatnot. So it's an interesting video, as you'll come to see. The poster said that it didn't actually move at all. The light that you'll see was actually stationary for the whole time and silent. There was also a little flashing light shortly after you sort of see the video footage rolling. But yeah, so Ash has just messaged me and said he'll be online shortly. He's having a few computer problems, so hopefully we don't log out of here. I don't think we will. So if anybody's making any comments, I'm not sure I can see them at the moment, so bear with me. I'm just going to go onto another screen whilst we resolve technical issues. I do apologise. Right, let me see. Sorry, that's what happens when I'm left in control of technology. It doesn't go quite so well. Yeah, he has probably gone for a quick pint, Thomas. It got me. So let's. Right. Sorry, everyone. I'm just trying to get a few bits and pieces. Let me see if I can pull up the video myself. Sorry about this. I don't know if I can. So look. I'm just going to see if I can download the video. Download video. Cool. So thanks for sticking with me. Ash is just rebooting his computer, so he should be back with us in a minute. I'm not sure I can. Let's have a look. One moment. So here is the video. Just waiting for it to upload, and then we can see the video that I've just been talking about. I've never used this particular piece of software before, so I'm just waiting for this to get sorted. And I'm not sure if I can actually play it myself. No, not at the moment. So we'll just wait for Ash to come back on board. So apologies for that. So we also have been talking this week about the briefings that have taken place recently with regards to UAPs. Has anybody seen them? Has anybody got any thoughts on them about what's going on in the world of UFOs? Because at the moment, it's all a bit crazy. There's lots of videos going out and about at the moment. Some very interesting videos. I think since we've last done this live, there has been the US Senate committee where they discussed the fact that there was some unknown objects being seen, for example, and they actually showed, within the first few seconds, they showed some video footage of a silver sphere shooting past a plane. Quite inconclusive, and they weren't really too sure how to even use the video, so they couldn't even really stop it on the object itself. But that was quite an interesting video, the fact that they actually had one, that they were open to discussing and looking at ways for military people to report UFOs and UAPs, which for those people are not sure are unidentified aerial phenomena, of which UFOs come under, and anything unidentified. So there's been lots of military sightings. Oh Christ, thank God you're back. I was trying to waffle and I'm no good on my own, Ash. Military people. Welcome back.
Wow.
Welcome back. So I was trying to explain in your absence the fact that we had the second video, and I explained a little bit about what we were going to see in the video. I even uploaded the video, but I can't play it. So thank God you came back. I started going to US Senate committees, and me being not the UFO expert, the two of us, we were starting to get to a point where I was starting to start sweating and shaking.
I'm back.
Welcome back. Good evening, Maggie.
That's never happened on the live before that, has it?
No, it hasn't. Thankfully.
Yeah, it's nice. Nice pink pint, Tom. You top it up for me.
I'm on water.
Evening, Maggie. Hope you're well.
Yeah, we're both well. Thanks for joining us.
Right. So it's the second video we were going to look at, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
All right. Let's bring that up then. We need to go clear out on this computer. All right. There we go.
So this is in Witney. For anybody in Witney, the person is looking over towards the Cogs area of Witney. For the locals, they'll know what that is. And again, an interesting video. considering where we are, we tend to see a lot of aircraft in the sky, particularly at night. They still fly most of the night round into Bryce because it being as busy as it is. So you would tend to see the lights moving. Certainly after that period of time, they would have gone across the sky, unless they're either coming towards the screen or going away, I suppose. That would be the only way you wouldn't see them moving sideways. But thanks for joining us, Thomas, with your point.
It's weird because it looks like it's stationary. And we looked on Google Maps on like Street View and stuff, and there's nothing sort of out there that's that high that would like a crane light or something like that. There's nothing really
correct
there. Honestly, see that every night if that was the case as well.
And the people, people in Witney we're very used to seeing planes coming in and out of Bryce, particularly at night. It happens all year round, day, night. So seeing planes in the sky, they generally don't come in that way. Where the angle of that video is generally over to sort of where the poster's video is over to the right-hand side, over to the right there, would generally be the flight path into Bryce, but a bit further away. We're sort of seeing kind of to the right-hand side of where the poster's looking is Witney Town Centre, just down to the bottom right where the is in Pursuit of the Paranormal. And then over to the far side of the screen would be sort of the normal flight path into Bryce. And they come in along. So looking at it, I wouldn't expect to see a plane from Bryce coming in like that.
Evening, Kelly.
Hello.
Is this Kelly, yeah?
Yeah.
We've got Earl asks, is there any sightings near Burton-on-Trent? So I've just been looking for this year and last year. So this year, there's been a couple around Stoke. Nothing really to write home about, just basic. Lights in the sky, flickering, moving about. Another one from Stoke in February. Just two parallel lights moving west at immense speed, snaking left and right with great maneuverability. That's quite a big word.
It is, especially on Friday.
And one with pink. This is actually Tango. It's not alcohol.
So you say.
Just looking at last year, it's a couple in September. Actually, 1 and 2 in 2 days, day after each other. A silent grey object with a white halo passed overhead, just below cloud level. And the next day, a bright light that released a glow of light downwards before the object dimmed and disappeared. But nothing in Burton specifically, but a couple around Stoke and Newcastle that way. So a couple.
Cool.
Should have been on when we were recording with Mike. Well, glowing eyes appeared behind Mike's shoulder.
My God.
As we're talking about a man being in a guy came to his house and said there's a man with an axe in the house, a spirit of a man with an axe that wants you out of the house. And then two glowing eyes just appeared in the dark behind my shoulder. Absolutely shit ourselves.
Yeah, that was very scary at the time. Crazy.
Tom said it looked too static to be a plane.
Yeah, it does. It does to me. And as I say, because we're near Bryce, we're used to seeing planes. So I would think the majority of people looking in the sky would have seen what a plane looks like, to be fair. You only have to be here for like a week and you'll have probably seen hundreds of planes circling into the approach to Bryce, and it doesn't look like that. But that's obviously just an opinion. Out that way is is Oxford Airport a bit further away. So London Airport is called London Oxford Airport. But again, it's not so busy in the evenings. I don't really think I've seen many planes going into there. They're way off in the distance. But the only challenge you got with any of the video recordings on mobiles is distance, because when you hold the camera up to even the moon to try and take a picture of the moon, it looks a lot smaller when you see it by eye. So it's really difficult, because that may have actually looked a lot closer. Just another thought.
You just can't gauge distance and with no points of reference or anything. You just can't, or context. You can't.
Correct.
Can't deduce anything really.
Yeah, but a good video. And it was weird that they happened in a couple of days of each other as well, those two postings. So
Thomas says, is it true more sightings happen around power stations? I live near Staythorpe Power Station and I've heard of a few sightings in the past. So, I mean, more sightings? I wouldn't say there's more than usual, to be honest. There are sightings around sightings, and obviously there's a lot of talk around nuclear plants as well and shutting down nuclear weapons and stuff in the past, some famous cases.
Yeah.
I think this, I mean, I've investigated a couple actually that was sent through around Sellafield up in the Lake District, obviously a nuclear processing plant, and a couple of sightings up there, which have been quite unusual. But again, it's a high security area, so I think anything that was coming near there would be tracked, and obviously it's a risk if there's anything unknown, whatever it may be, coming towards a nuclear power station or nuclear centre. So, yeah, I mean, there are plenty around power stations, but I wouldn't say more than there is in like other hotspots.
Do you think it's the fact that they're near power stations that they tend to get maybe more press?
Yeah, probably. Like, yeah, because it's gonna make a story out of it rather than above a park or. So it's more glamorous, and like a lot of the stories, a bit more glamorous to it.
Yeah,
make it more exciting. So
definitely
make a story out of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Earl says Richard Dolan has references to some very good sightings near Repton, which to make it all the way to him must have been good sightings. True. I live in the area and like to see something for myself. Yeah, I mean, around there, obviously you got Cannock Chase, not too far as well from Stoke and the Trent area. So there's been quite a few cases around Cannock Chase, and I think with the sightings that I've got, because ours is very modern, because our database that UFO Identified has is basically 2020 onwards, because we're keeping it current. Ours is the biggest database of current day sightings, and we don't go back further than 2020 because it's sort of what's been seen now. So it's very, very current. But obviously, historically, yeah, lots of sightings, lots of famous cases that have been seen around.
I think just going back to the video we've got on screen, another reason why it could appear stationary, although it looks slightly elongated, is it could be a planet, potentially. Could be Venus, could be something like that, maybe. Hence why it's not moving.
The reason I did that is I thought you were going to say if it's the angle of these trajectories head on to you, it can look stationary even though it's getting closer.
Yeah, that's true.
Just because of the angle, the way it's coming in, and the way you're viewing it can look like it's hovering even though it is actually moving.
Well, when you decided to take a break a minute ago, I did cover off the fact that it could be that it's coming towards us or going away potentially. I think I did anyway. But yeah, that is a reason why it would potentially look stationary. Definitely.
Tom says Cannock Chase is crazy in the day, let alone at night. I love the place.
Yeah, we did it day and night. It was definitely crazy at night.
Definitely scary at night.
It was. Yeah, it's a good place, though. It is a good place. What do you think's there, though, Thomas? do you think all the rumours and folklore and legends are true? Because we had some strange experiences there, so could be.
Let me put this other video on. This one was sent to us only recently at UFO Identified. This one, so he's driving. Actually, I'm not sure if it's a driver video in it or a passenger. But he then managed to pull over because he found the lay-by just to basically pull over and record what he's seeing. I mean, it looks like a display of some sort of pyrotechnic display or whatever.
Yeah. That sort of second section where you see it looping around does look a bit like flares on a plane, a biplane or something. But instantly, those three lights there look strangely similar to the ones that on the first video.
Let me just get where this was took from.
Interesting video, though. But
this was Salisbury, so it's not actually too far away.
Salisbury?
Yeah. Is that how you pronounce it?
No. Salisbury.
Yeah.
Salisbury. But yeah, that's not actually too far from where I am. Do we know when this was recorded? It was recorded the other night, was it?
14th of May, this was from.
Okay.
So just over a month ago.
Yeah. Again, Salisbury, high military activity down there. You've got Salisbury Plain where the military do frequent. There's lots of maneuvers take place down Salisbury Plain. Not saying that that's what it was, but that bit's quite interesting, isn't it? I like that. I've not seen this video in full. I saw the first section.
Yeah, I think I only sent you a bit of it, I think.
Yeah.
But he says it's gone on for 20 minutes. That's why at this point he's found the lay-by, pulled over, so he could video it properly instead of driving and videoing.
That's quite interesting, that one. I like that. Could it be helicopters moving that? Because it's not particularly fast, but I don't know.
I think the way they're moving, again, drones or some sort of display.
If he says 20 minutes, you've got the average sort of drone battery on, like a off-the-shelf drone, is about 20 minutes max in perfect conditions. If you've got wind, stuff like that, and that's quite a big distance they seem to be traveling as well.
Yeah, because one's sort of stopped and the other one's gone on a holiday somewhere.
Again, you can't rule out drones at all, but it's quite a cool video.
Tom says it seems to be moving as a plane or a helicopter. In my opinion. Evening, Abby, by the way.
Evening.
He seems going back at a bit of speed now.
Yeah. And interestingly, the plane, if that's sort of the average heights. So again, being the drone expert, no, that's not the right word. But I was a commercial drone pilot. I've got my permission for commercial operations, as it was back then. The safe flying height for a drone legally was 120 meters, which is 400 feet.
Right.
And planes are not supposed to go lower than 500 feet. But helicopters, there's no minimum height for a helicopter. The minimum height is 0 feet. So that's why you can see helicopters going super low, and sometimes around by us near Bryce and in some of the villages, they can drop right to the ground and take off from farmers' fields because they're legally allowed to be at 0 feet.
Yeah.
So for being a plane, it shouldn't be less than 500 feet, which isn't that high. So just to put sort of a bit of perspective on it.
Well, then the end bit, the one that went off and then came back, he's coming down now. It just seems to be like landing, so to speak.
Yeah.
The light disappears, so...
Oop, gone. Yeah, it's an interesting video for definite. I like that.
Weird.
Yeah.
Thomas had a few experiences at Cannock Chase. Can't say exactly what they were, but it freaked 7 of us out enough that none of them would go back.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Sounds exciting. And Nick asks, why do you really think there are so many UFO-related things happening at the moment? Are we being desensitized to make the reality more palatable? Now more whistleblowers are coming forward and being more credible. The powers that be have realised they can't hide it anymore. What do you reckon to that, Greg?
A bit of both. I think, so it all goes back to the Tic Tac incident and video, I think, a few years ago, where the 3 videos were released, and it kind of just sort of propelled the subject forward because you had the major press covering it. You've got military people, so Lou Elizondo coming out with it. You've got Jeremy Corbell releasing the Bob Lazar stuff, all around the sort of same sort of time, and I think it's just pushed it out. I think podcasts are now, for years, have been going on about UFOs, and there's a lot of us talking about UFOs on podcasts, and I think it's just that the mass population has now desensitized, quite a good way of saying it. I think the population as a whole seem to be open a lot more to stranger things. I think the world is crazy enough over the last few years for people to go, well, actually, a light in the sky isn't quite as bad as things have been. And then you've got the US Senate committee. You've got all these task force being set up. Yeah, I don't know if one has pushed the other or the government are drip feeding stuff out. What do you think, Ash?
It's definitely a lot more awareness,
Mm-hmm.
and it has sort of seemed to, like I say, increased the last couple of years, especially the last 12 months with the UAV task force.
Yeah.
You've got all these different projects starting, even like the commercial ones, the civilian ones like Galileo and UAPX. You've got NASA now starting their own study, whether temporary or not. The fact that NASA are now saying we're going to look at UAP. Are they trying to desensitize us, or is it just getting a lot of pressure because more people are coming forward? I don't know. It could be like, here's a little bit, this will do you for a while, and then we'll hold you off for 3 or 4 more years before we do anything else. Or I don't know. I think it's just a waiting game to see what actually happens. Because it's like we're in the midst of it right now, and there's all these different things going on around us. Until they've actually happened and they've actually got either some results or some proper reports or analysis, then I think time's going to tell. But it's exciting. It's exciting to be in this world while it's happening. And like seeing the different developments. Like today was the Brazilian hearings. It's not a chance to take a look at yet or watch.
No.
Maybe it might be going on now, actually. I'm not sure what time, because we're there 8 hours behind or something, so I'm not sure what time it's actually at. And I think tomorrow's the Italian hearings going on tomorrow. So it is all happening.
Yeah.
At the minute. So I think it's just exciting to be here at the minute and just talking about it, which is cool.
Yeah, we were recording a podcast Tuesday, with Frank, the UFO Thinker podcast, and that day was some Lou Elizondo complaint had been released. Yeah, became public, and it had happened like literally within an hour of us recording the podcast, so it was all a bit fresh. So it's crazy at the moment.
It is. 100,000 or what are NASA going to find? I mean, it's not a lot of money when you look at the millions and tens of millions that have been spent previously, but like the initial study, it's a 9-month study, and it's probably just going to cover wages. I think that's because they're going to be looking at the historical data that they've got and then trying to work out in the future how can we best look at it. So this is what we've got. We'll analyze what we've got already, and then what shall we do in the future? So I guess I think it's just pretty much people's wages that money is going to cover for 9 months while they look into the data they've already got.
But the kind of salaries that people are on at NASA, how much is 100 grand going to get you?
Yeah, I suppose.
It's just a thought. But it really annoys me because and we talked about this in the week, that if they're going to go spend 9 months looking at possible evidence, it's out there all the time. That's what I don't get. It's out there all the time. And like we talked about the airbrush stuff out, so we don't even know what they've got. And if they don't even know what they've got, that's a worry. Or do they? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, they're still going to look at civilian reports and databases and stuff. I mean, they can come look at ours. They've got identified. They can come look at ours.
Might get a little knock on your door.
As long as they join
Men in Black.
Yeah. It's £2 a month to see the database.
Yeah, correct. It seems that part of the recent events has allowed them to sort of go 2004, and the Tic Tac was the start of the new sort of phase of UFOs. So anything before that, and I know we've discussed that, anything before that seems to have been skillfully sort of swerved.
Like literally everything.
Yeah,
everything. Ale says some of the powers that be want it out, some don't. You can't have this come out without some people looking really bad and perhaps even be up in court for hiding this info. I think some of that is the gist of the Luis Ando's Inspector General complaint, because what he's been accusing oh my God, there's a name going out of my head. Hold on, I'll get it open there. So Susan Goff was one of them. And is it not? I keep saying Harry Reid. It's not Harry Reid. That's your guy. Definitely not Harry Reid. I can't remember his name. Is it Harry? No, it's not Harry Reid.
No, it wasn't, and I can't think of it for the life of me.
Let's go like me. There's Susan Goff and your guy. That was the head of the Secretary for Defence Intelligence and all that. But the filth that he's been accused of, and obviously it backs up what he's been saying for years about the conspiracy, the cover up, the basically lying to the public. And so what comes out of this complaint, if he testifies and could end up testifying in court, and then what could happen from there, we don't know. So that's pretty interesting again, where, like I say, people will probably end up in court about this topic, which is just crazy. But I think it needs to be. People have been deliberately lying and covering stuff up and defaming people in the process. People like Lou Elizondo, and he has every right to say, hang about, you talking shit about me, I'm not going to take it, which is basically what he's saying in this complaint.
Yeah, I think when you look at like the history of UFOs and presidents knowing stuff, that's why they don't tell people. That's why only like the top people know, because then it becomes plausible denial. You haven't got somebody going rogue knowing all the information that they'll have to suicide. So, but it's true. I think the only people that really know what's going on are the people that have been there for decades, and politicians are not really those people.
Nick Thompson says one guy opening filing cabinets in the back office.
Yeah,
sounds like a certain ex-MOD person. That's what his
yeah,
job.
it does.
That's what his job pretty much was. Question from Thomas. What do you guys think of things like the Greys visiting people and stuff like that?
Over to you.
Well, I mean, I've read enough cases, watched enough documentaries, listened to enough people's accounts that I think people are being visited by what we call the grey aliens or creatures that are abducting people or coming into people's homes. So yeah, I think it's happening. Don't know why, what the purpose is. I think they've been doing it for a long time. Obviously not every case is going to be legit, but yeah, I think in some cases they're just, they're not lying. This stuff is happening. I don't know what I'm saying. I lost the train of thought completely there.
So in my mind,
that's on to you, Greg.
Yeah, it's just strange that so the grey is like the typical Hollywood and image of aliens that we've had over the last X years and decades. And we, like I said, we've spoken to a lot of people that claim to have seen greys, claim to have been abducted by greys, claim to have killed greys. R.I.P. John. It's difficult to know. We've spoken to people that claim to be abducted by greys on a nightly basis. I think it's happening. What they are, who they are. We spoke to Christopher Macklin a couple of weeks ago, and he talked about having a meeting where they discussed banning the greys from Earth. I think they seem to be, all the people we speak to seem to suggest that the greys are
the bad guys.
The bad guys, yeah. There's nothing good about them. They've got no emotion. They're cold. It's a strange one, because typically a lot of abductees, etc., seem to have seen these greys. Whether that's just because this is in the social sort of construct and that's the image people have when they're trying to make sense of what's happening to them, who knows. Some people see tree stumps. We've spoken to people who've seen owls. Some people see Disney characters, because that's their brain trying to make sense of what trauma they're going through. So the greys are the typical alien, whether they're alien or whether they're future humans, something like that, who knows. But yeah, I think definitely stuff's happening, and they seem to be the instigators of all the bad stuff. Nothing is ever said nice about grey aliens.
Yeah. And Thomas mentioned Stardust Ranch, I believe it's called. That guy claims it overnight. That's John Edmonds. He was one of our guests back in the early days.
Yeah, it was.
He sadly passed away in February this year. We found out a couple of weeks later. So that was sad to hear.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, and he claimed to have killed 19 grey aliens.
And he had the DNA evidence to prove it.
Yeah. With the report.
To prove there was something that he killed.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's the one of the guys that's provided the most evidence to us, or evidence to anybody, I suppose, of grey aliens or something happening.
That's one of our most popular episodes as well. That episode,
yeah, it is.
With John.
Yeah,
it's like say it's 20 years he's been saying he was saying that this was happening for. I never changed the story.
Yeah.
And so very, very interesting.
Yeah, it was an interesting
accounts.
conversation.
Nick Thompson, I said it before, though, we are only allowed to see so much glimpse behind the curtain a little. I'm more inclined to think most of this is just leaking little bits because we'll never know the true reality. Do we want to know the truth? Do you want to have it all out on the table? So say you did believe that you knew that this was the truth from the government or whatever.
Yep.
Do you want it all out on the table? This is everything. Would you want to know everything?
Yes. Because I think if they put everything out, I think people are, well, I don't know, actually. You tell people to stay 6 feet apart from each other and wear a little blue mask, and people can't even do that. So mass hysteria becomes a bit of an issue, I think. And what is, you're going to have the churches potentially collapsing as a result of that, and the fact that all of this is out there. I don't know. I don't think it'll be allowed to all come out. I don't know.
Evening, Mike. We didn't announce it. We didn't really plan it. We just thought,
no, we didn't. We sort of
just
discussed a time at about 7 o'clock, about 8 o'clock. Yeah, all right, let's go for it.
Yeah, he's a samurai sword that he killed. He used to shoot at the spaceship with his rifle. It was
an AK-47, I think.
Semi-automatic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
To stop him abducting his wife.
Yeah. He used to be able to predict where they would disappear sort of and reappear within a room. So when they sort of like evaporated or whatever you want to call it, he knew where they'd reappear and he'd be waiting with his samurai sword. Yeah,
it's crazy to talk about. Like,
yeah,
such a story, such a great story.
The one of the weirdest bits about that story, apart from all of it, was he was talking about Men in Black. So he would have police officers turn up with like black tape over their badges, like not even really hiding who they were.
Yeah, it's not like the typical man in a suit. It's the hair. It's just literally cover up my badge number and the red plate on the car, and that was it. So
yeah. Interestingly, though, and I do keep an eye out, he's saying that a lot of celebrities are aliens, but he couldn't tell us which ones.
And he's one that said that the Greys are the bad guys, and then there's the Nordic type, which are the ones that are sort of amongst us, are the good ones that help the planet rather than try and fight or whatever. So it's funny that, like you say, the police officers just covering up, or the sheriffs. It's like Men in Black on a budget. It's like we haven't got enough for Man in Black. Let's just get some black tape and hide the identity. It's just
the Wish version of Men in Black.
It's just little details, though, that you wouldn't say that. It's a weird thing.
And that was it. That was what struck me the most, was that kind of weird detail. If he'd have come out and said the Men in Black arrived, there's two of them in these top hats, trench coats, looking like the smoking guy on X-Files. They kind of go, okay, it's a bit cliched, but yeah, fair enough. But no, he's literally talking about ridge plates and all that kind of stuff, just black taped up. It's just weird.
Okay, so another question from Earl. This could be fun. This could be a fun one. What is your guys' opinion of Dr. Stephen Gray? You can. I went first last time. You can have this one.
So there's two aspects to my answer. I think at the start, all good, was in it to make it public and come out, and it was, I hesitate to use the word credible, but he seemed to want to push the agenda into the public more. As time's gone on, he's got into CE5, which is cool, and it's not something we've properly covered on the podcast. But that's fascinating, and it is certainly an area that interests me. But then becomes the money making for Dr. Stephen Greer, and I think that's where he loses me, because some of the things I've heard about some of his very expensive outings into the desert and whatnot, it's a lot of money, and I just think he's in it now for the money, and he's come too far, and he's got to become more, not outlandish, that's the wrong word, but he's got to be able to provide more each time, and that's the problem. You have to ramp it up each time. Paying for an app, wants us to connect, all that kind of stuff, and it's no. Over to you, Ash.
Expensive app as well. I think when I looked when it came out, I don't know if it's still the same price now, but it was like £10 for an app. Which if it's like £3, maybe £5, I'd have downloaded it to see what it's like, connect with other people. But for £10, it's just that bit too much. And again, it's like why £10? I know he charges a lot for appearance fees, and I'm going to say a lot, I mean a lot, to appear. He has his entourage of people that he has to bring with him as well. And it's always on his terms, like with the CE5. I mean, it's always like people say to him, like, but I say like a documentary crew or investigators or newspapers ever want to speak to him. So it's on his terms. It has to be where he wants to meet them. All the different circumstances around it have to be how he says it has to be. Stuff like this. And someone mentioned Thomas Goodfellow, Beyonce's an alien. He's a bit of a diva, in my opinion. Allegedly, in my opinion, as Abby's pointed out, everything's allegedly.
Yeah. Do not reflect the views of Pursuit of the Paranormal. It's just my personal opinion.
Yeah. Look, you want it? I'm gonna sing it, but I cannot.
No, I'm singing it in my head.
Ethan Earl, but what is Earl? Michael Earl. Yeah, too many Earls in the chat's happening. Mike, what made you believe in the paranormal?
Good question. So, do you go first if you want?
I was going to say, it depends what you mean by believe. Because I don't know what I believe. It changes that much, what I do believe, what I don't believe. And especially since I was a kid, how much I've changed my opinions and stuff. Was it in an interest? It's having my own experiences. I guess like UFO experience and the ghost experience in that pub in Knutsford. I do believe. I guess, yeah, I do believe, and it's just my own experiences made me believe. What about you?
So I started off watching all these Arthur C. Clarke World of Mystery stuff, which I know I've spoken about before, and it was an experience that had come up, and I'd forgotten all about it till not long ago, and I think I mentioned it to you off air, that I was staying at a friend's house, and we used to, our parents or our mums used to work part-time at the same law firm type thing, secretaries. One would work the afternoon and one would work the morning, so they could share childcare. So I would go to like his house in the afternoon, he'd come to mine in the morning, that kind of thing. We were only young, and one day I had to stay over at his house, and I remember we were in like a spare room, and there was a double bed. So it's just me and him. We're like 5 or 6. I don't think we were very old, so maybe 7. And I didn't think anything of it. Woke up the next morning, and it turns out that he claimed to have seen somebody standing at the end of the bed, and his mum, no joke, got a priest out to come and bless the house, and obviously that freaked me out. I hated going upstairs in that house on my own after that, and I was always I believed it at that point because I've got no reason to disbelieve it. I was young enough that it just freaked me out. And then I'd start watching again, keep watching the Arthur C. Clarke stuff, and it just fascinated me. And then having some of my own experiences, like you say, oh, is it belief? Do I believe in the paranormal? I believe there's something out there that we can't explain. But like you say, I think it's when you start having personal experiences or something, that's when you start to believe, I think. And so, yeah, I think it was a gradual belief rather than anything. The interest became the belief.
I just want to go back to Beyonce because Thomas said Beyonce is an alien. And one of her shows, people claim she changes mid-show.
Yeah, I've seen that video. Have you not seen it?
No. She claims changes mid-show and reveals her true face.
It looks like where she's moving and stuff on stage, she gets like a different look on her face. There's a few instances of people on like politicians and such like, and they're on video and you slow it down and it looks like their eyes sort of blink sideways. And
yeah, I've seen stuff like that where it's like eyes sort of turn reptilian like for a couple of seconds and then go back to normal. Like little clips like that, which I mean, again, probably just cameras,
maybe
anything else. But
I'm gonna just search that while we're just talking about it. Beyonce alien face.
For the first time I've heard of it.
Really? I thought you'd have. I thought it'd be one that you'd have heard of. Let me have a look. I'm trying to see if I can find the video. Seems to be a lot more conspiracy about Beyonce than I knew. About her not being who she says she is. Is Beyonce an alien? Right. Should have just gone for that, really, shouldn't I? Let's have a look. I'll send it to you, Ash. Let's see. So we're doing this on the fly, guys. Look at us. We're now doing research on the fly. It is a funny video, Thomas. Yeah, it's one of those ones that you never know. You never know.
Well, I was just getting that video. I was just sort of going back to Mike's question about what got you interested or believe in paranormal. It's like on a similar vein, people say, do you believe in UFOs? It's like, well, UFOs isn't a question of belief because UFO is fact. It's just that the media association and stigma of that UFO equals alien. When people are asking, do you believe in UFOs? They're actually asking, do you believe in aliens? Is what the actual question is. Mm-hmm. So when people say, do you believe in UFOs? Like, well, it's not belief. It's UFOs are fact. There's no question of belief. It's what you believe is behind some of the UFOs that have been seen. Like with the paranormal, it's like paranormal by definition is something that's just out of the ordinary, just above our normal understanding. So paranormal as a word, it obviously exists, as a meaning, definition it exists. It's what you believe is to be behind the stories and obviously the legends of what makes up the paranormal. And it's just that many different aspects of the paranormal, as we've talked about. Literally could be anything. Let me get this Beyonce video up.
And just while we're doing that, Michael is going to be a guest on the podcast in a couple of weeks. Or the episode will be released in a couple of weeks. Follow him on YouTube and Instagram as Paramike, and check out some of his videos on there. Very good.
Is this the right video? I was like two people in bed.
Okay, I didn't even check it. I just sent you the YouTube link.
Can't be careful what I'm putting up on there,
So I don't know, to be fair, I don't know what you're going to be watching. I don't know how long the video is or anything. correct, Mike. A lot of people choose not to believe facts nowadays. Why let the facts get in the way of a good story?
I don't even think Beyonce's in this video. Is that
Oh, is it not? Sorry. I'll have another look. I'm not, if anybody listens to Joe Rogan's podcast, I'm not quite up like Jamie is.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure what Beyonce looks like, but I'm pretty sure it's none of them white people.
Christ, I did. Right there. I'm going on YouTube. You Beyonce alien.
While you're doing this, I'll just talk about quickly our UFO identified in Minicon.
Yes.
Which I went to the venue today. We've paid off the remaining cost for the venue. And then my wallet is screaming at me. So help us by paying for the venue by buying tickets. It's October the 1st in Audenshaw, Manchester. Our headline speaker is Ryan Sprague from Somewhere in the Skies, a big, big name speaking at our conference. He's also going to have a table, going to be doing signings. If else, we've also got Robbie Graham giving a talk, a previous guest of the podcast, talking about UFOs and the link with high strangeness.
Yep.
We've got UFO Identified. We're going to be giving a talk ourselves on some recent sightings and some interesting sightings from around the area. And we've got a podcast panel where we've got Andy McGrillen and Dan Zetterstrom from That UFO podcast and Frank from UFO Finger podcast. We're going to be doing a little panel talking about sort of the latest news and the whole disclosure and what's going on in America. And then doing a question answer with the audience. So it's an all-day conference. We've got a vendor hall where there's going to be people selling UFO-related things. There's going to be authors there selling books. Greg is going to be there at the Pursuit of Paranormal podcast table. And there's going to be an all-day bar, all these speakers, and tickets are available at ufoidentified.co.uk. And there's not that many tickets left. The VIPs have all sold out. The early birds have all sold out. So just standard tickets left. And we do expect that we will be selling out in the next month or so. So make sure you get your tickets if you are interested. I got the plug out of the way.
Yeah, definitely. I know you've been itching to say that the whole time. Just to correct myself a second ago, it's Paramike87 on YouTube, just to clarify. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the conference. It'll be great to meet some of the people that we've spoken to on the podcast in person, because we spoke to Andy McGrillen. We've spoken to Frank. We've spoken to... I can't even think of who you just said. But yes, we've had
Robbie Graham.
Robbie Graham, that's it. So yeah, really excited. And if the feedback on the last one's anything to go by, I think it'd be great.
It's going to be good. The venue, like I say, I went to the venue today, different venue from last year. Massive venue. We've got like 4 different rooms, big conference hall, really nice old building. It's just going to be a great day. So don't miss out. And again, like, going to be loads of listeners there. A lot of the people who are speaking up came to the conference last year. A lot of people that came last year come again this year because they said how much they loved it last year. So just, don't miss out. Get your tickets.
Yeah, definitely.
Cheers, John. Thank you for joining us. Fabio Cardoso, sorry. Any sightings in Witney?
Oh, you missed it. So there have been. And right at the start of this live, we talked about 2 UFO sightings in Witney. With video over the last week. They've been made public on Facebook. So after this live finishes, you'll be able to go back and watch it from the start. So within the first 20 minutes or so, we'll start talking about that. So yes, Fabio, thanks for joining us. Good to have some fellow Witney people on.
Anyone from Manchester in the chat? Say hi. Nick, in talking to Mike, in the digital age, so much is easily faked. That's what makes it so dangerous. People trying to fake things to make money. Less credibility is given to genuine reports, and that is a big problem. across like UFO, paranormal, ghosts, everything. Just so many fakes there. And actually, this is something we talked about, and we're going to be doing some content on fakes and hoaxes in upcoming weeks. So
yes, we are.
Yeah, keep an eye out for them. Kelly's in, fellow Mancunian. You don't live up here though, it's a bit different.
From Manchester.
Manchester. Back on Beyonce. If you look up Beyonce turns into a demon.
Right, wait there. I'll pull that up. Wow.
First it's an alien, now it's a demon.
Beyonce.
Nick's from Chester, just down the road. Funny enough, the guest we spoke to last night is from Chester. Dr. Anne Winsper, and she will be on in about 3 weeks' time, her episode talking about EVP and time slips.
And she's got a doctorate and her thesis was EVPs.
Yeah, very interesting.
Interesting. So I'm doing a search on Beyonce turns into the demon, sorry. And when you type in YouTube Beyonce turns, the second search auto sort of fill thing is Beyonce turns into a saxophone. So make of that what you will. Oh, here we go. Right. I'm going to send you the video. Oh, here we go. So Mike Earl said, again, back to Nick, there's something that really grinds the gears about fakes. There's a very good YouTuber called Purple who debunks fakers. I'll have to check that out. Not heard of them. So that's the problem with social media now. Facebook, technology, everything. It's just something that I think it's very difficult to prove or disprove a lot of these things now, because everything, even software you can get for free off the internet now, you can make a fairly decent video of the paranormal UFOs without even really trying.
And you get people that just point blank believe anything they see, and they're sharing it, they're backing it up. So it's just like fighting a battle all the time.
Interestingly, though, there is a video of a black triangle apparently circling the internet that is legit.
According to Lou.
According to Lou Elizondo, yeah. So he doesn't say which video, but apparently there is a legit black triangle video. So a daytime one as well, I think it's supposed to be as well.
So let me...
So apologies about the Beyonce link if it's...
Oh, I've got this here now. Here we go. Beyonce turned into a demon. Right. I've not watched it yet. I just got up to the start of the video.
Wow. That's quite demonic moving anyway, isn't it? There we go. Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
He saw it as well. Look at his face.
See this bit?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So if you rewind it back a tiny bit and then watch that whole section, yeah.
Oh my God. Let me turn it down a little bit. It's a bit loud.
I can't hear it.
I was just blaring in my ears.
Yeah.
People listening, everyone's listening in silence, like blaring in my ears. Some awful music. I don't know what the hell.
It's not My Chemical Romance, that's for sure.
No, definitely not.
What do you reckon?
And he's like, "Oh my God!" Wait.
He's definitely in.
Yeah, that is pretty creepy.
Yeah, is that Photoshop though? It looks a bit.
Could be. Or just like obviously she's moving, so motion blur. Just obviously she's got hair in her face as well.
Yeah.
It's a bit. Who knows? Who knows?
Well, I'm glad we found the clip anyway.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. Let's get her face out on there. Okay, so do you want to talk about one of the other topics we were gonna talk about? Well, we got past Beyonce.
Let's, yeah, so one of the topics we were going to potentially talk about was mediums and the difference of opinion of what they think the afterlife is. So what makes you say that, Mike? But so we've spoken to a lot of people that have some kind of mediumship skill.
Over
from
a
all
dozen or so.
Yeah,
quite a
America, UK, all over. Some people that have got links to past life, reincarnation, pets that have passed over, Facebook mediums. We'll come on to that in a minute, Mike. That's a topic in itself. But everybody we've spoken to seems to have a slightly different opinion of what the afterlife is. So one thing that rung true with me and Ash, and we had a conversation off air about, we spoke to a guy called Jesse King, and he was saying that there's 15 different sort of levels or planes of the afterlife. And he was talking to us about some of the rules around it, so that you shouldn't go up to somebody in the street and say, I've got a message for you, or that kind of thing. People have to come to you. But then we've spoken to other mediums that say they've gone up to somebody in a restaurant and told the guy to get his health checked, and it turns out he had like some kind of heart condition or something like that. So, which completely contradicts what Jesse said and then other people have said they wouldn't approach people. It's all about them coming to the medium. It's all a bit.
There's a lot of stuff in medium stuff, and you see this in films as well, where the person that's passed on comes to the medium for help to pass the message, whatever that they need to do before they can then move on. But like I say with Jesse saying, like one of the laws, like all the mediums who have this gift have to follow the laws or they get punished, is you can't just approach a random person in the street, no matter how much. But then other mediums don't mention anything about spirit. Was it spirit law? You referred it to?
Yeah, spirit law.
Referred it as, and never even mentioned anything about spirit law. But then more than one has. It's just, and again, like with Jesse, says there's 15 levels of on the afterlife. There's 15 planes, and you can, if you've done good or you've done what you need to do, you then move up, and then try and get to the highest plane, which is when you like have the most power or whatever. That's like the aim. And other mediums say there's 7 levels. But then there's other it's just reincarnation. There's only just that one where once you've done what you need to do, you can just keep getting reincarnated until you've learned enough or done what you need to do to pass on just to the afterlife properly, which is like what you'd call heaven. So again, it's just completely different explanations of what the afterlife is. So are they all right? Are they all wrong or some bullshitting?
Yeah.
Or are they all interpreting it differently? Or different cultures have different afterlife, different religions?
Yeah.
How do you explain all the different versions of the afterlife, basically?
Yeah. So it's definitely an interesting subject, because I know we've spoken about it following podcast episodes, because obviously we come off of a lot of these calls with people and we have a little chat. Sometimes we don't even know what to say to each other, but it's it's interesting that we speak to so many different people, and I think, like you said before, Ash, I think the more that we talk to these people, the less we seem to have any clear understanding. It becomes muddier the more we look into it. I thought you passed over and you went into heaven or whatever it was, but it appears not now, and I don't know what's going to happen to me. I'm on my 40th reincarnation or something, like 37 reincarnations, so I've got a lot to do.
And I also think, like, obviously, I mean, I do think people can speak to the dead or whoever.
Yeah.
But you have, like, there's conventions for mediums and obviously mediumship communities where mediums obviously meet up, talk to each other. So just putting the argument out there, if it is all bullshit, if it is all just lies, all the people that meet at these conventions all know that the other person is bullshitting. It's all one big play along thing. Or is there something like they all do have some gifts? That's what I sometimes think about. Obviously, it's hard. We have to take other people's word for it. There's no proof. Apart from getting a reading and then believing that reading was a genuine reading or a genuine message from someone that's to you. It's obviously there's zero evidence for it. That doesn't mean I do believe it. That's just an argument for it. Is if it is bullshit, did they all know the bullshit when mediums talk to each other?
That'd be a weird conversation, wouldn't it? They're both looking at each other, knowing what they're both thinking. But I mean, I've had a reading, and it couldn't have been more accurate. And the stuff that was said to me was literally, there's no way, absolutely nothing on social media could have given any kind of information of these particular names that were said and locations. There's no way. Some of the names, people not even in my life, but are connected to my family. It was astounding, really, but I don't know. Again, it becomes a personal experience.
Yeah, I guess like you have Jesse's version of the afterlife and then somebody else's version of the afterlife. If they met in one of the conventions or whatever, do they argue about, no, my afterlife's the right one? You're bullshitting. I'm telling the truth. You're a liar.
Yeah.
But then Mike's just put on, there's a theory that no two mediums are the same, and this could also go into what they feel the afterlife is. So if it's their interpretation of it, if they're all telling the truth, but it is all different interpretations, it could be that could be the afterlife for them, but their afterlife is different to someone else's afterlife. So they are all telling the truth. It's just different. I don't know.
Yes, it's difficult to know. It is difficult to know. And I think that's the same with everybody we start talking to. The more we find out, the less we seem to know. That's the worrying thing. It just opens more doors of questioning. Interesting comment there from Mike.
I think I'll take you up on that. I never had a reading. I'll take you up on that, Mike. Thomas Spot, you ever thought that the light at the end of the tunnel is actually the lighting of a medical ward and you're being reborn? That was me trying to put it politely.
I've heard that, actually.
I've heard that before.
And the reason you're screaming as a baby is because you've just passed over and you're coming back out again. And it's the realization that you're being reborn. Maybe. Who knows? Good theory, though. I like that.
I don't know what else to say on that.
No, there's not much to say on that. So has anybody got any other questions before? I suppose we've been on here for an hour and a half before we start wrapping up. Because
you've been on for longer than me.
Yeah, I have. I was holding the fort. I was keeping us afloat.
But why didn't? I'm surprised that this didn't end though, because.
Well, the thing is, the stream's on. Via,
I'm hosting it, unless it's just because you're still there.
Because I'm still here, and because it's like on the cloud, it's not an app we have to log into, is it? It's a website.
Maybe. So I thought when I reset the computer, it would have. Is that the same computer off completely? Just went off. Like, it would have shut down the stream, but it didn't. I mean, it's good.
Yeah, definitely. So we've got another podcast to record after this.
Oh yes,
our Paranormal United States episode, which we've got one coming out at midnight tonight. For anybody that's following us on there, we're on episode 35 is coming out. 35 tonight, yeah, Ohio. And we're recording 36, which will be out next week.
Yeah, because I'm away on next week, so getting all definitely recorded.
Yeah, it's difficult sometimes because we record the podcasts potentially out of sync of what you hear them. So that's a bit crazy sometimes. If anybody's got any subjects that they think would be good for podcast episodes, by all means, let us know. We have a steady stream of people that we're going to interview, but it's always good to get something on board that people are interested in.
Something different. Like yesterday, I mentioned we spoke with Dr. Dan Winsper, and we talked about time slips. That's something we touched on it very briefly within conversation of like stone tape theory and stuff like this, but not like properly talked about the research into it stuff. So that's interesting. And we had I don't know. So yeah, any ideas for episodes? And Tom says something that we have said we're going to do for ages.
Oh yeah.
So he said a spirit box experiment that you can do live. So we have done it ourselves.
Yes.
Like remotely. We've done a spirit box remotely. And we did say we're going to figure out how we could do it live as well. If we say we're doing that for ages, we need to do it.
The thing is, the challenge we've got is that it might be a bit, I don't know, because it could be stuff that nothing happens and we just sat here with me or you just with headphones on. But yeah, no, we definitely said we'd do it. We
were going to get what is the hell's wrong with me?
I don't know, Ash. Something is very wrong with you today.
Words is not coming to my head today. Joe Wood to do a remote spirit box session with us. The Ronnie Wood's ex-wife, and singer, model, whatever she is. We're trying to get her to do a spirit box with us live.
No, that'd be cool. Yeah.
That'd be interesting, even if nothing happens. We got Joe Wood.
But interestingly, we spoke to somebody who said that spirit boxes just don't work. So, don't know.
Yeah, Thomas, cover ears with sound covering headphones and a blindfold. You'll ask questions and see what the deaf and blind answers. Yeah, the Estes
method, yeah.
Which is how we were doing it.
Yeah.
When we did it. And we've done it in person as well at Cannock Chase.
Yeah, we did. Got some very scary results.
We did this method.
So
yeah, we definitely did that because it's just trying to take away as many influences as possible. Especially online, you can say it's faked or whatever. So just try and take away as many influences. Try and have like obviously multiple camera angles so you can see that it's all legit. It's just doing what you can to. But you'll always be able to fake it, and there'll always be people that would believe it's fake regardless. So you can only do what you can do, and then people can believe it.
Yeah.
They like to say people don't really have spirit box. It's literally just words, and it's just nothing to do with the answers. But then people swear by them, and we've had responses that I would be like, "That's too coincidental."
Mm-hmm.
And then when we did do the SS method in Cannock Chase, and it was like obviously cycling through the stations, and you hear the random radio voices, but then I kept hearing a male and a female voice like at regular intervals, and then it kept getting closer and closer together. So I was hearing them more and more regularly, which the speed of the radio hadn't changed or anything, but then voices kept coming through more and more regularly until they literally at the same time like they were arguing with each other. It was really, really freaky. And that's when I said no, I had enough, because I was like, I could hear these two people arguing. So, I mean, to me, and again, some of the answers just lined up too well with the questions being asked, and too perfect of an answer but again, it could be coincidence.
Yeah. Yeah. I think though, some of the results we got that day, I don't. It was too crazy. Because at that point we sort of packed up and almost ran.
Michael said a tarot deep dive, like your Ouija episode.
So, with regards to tarot, as we found out while speaking to Mike, that Ash has got a
future episode.
Has got some kind of tarot skill that has been under the radar, considering we do.
I've not done it for a couple of years. I've not done it
paranormal podcast for the last 18, 19 months, and this has not even come up till we talked about it the other night for the episode coming out in a week or so. But yeah, I've actually weirdly have been into. So we've been on we had a guest on our podcast, Jeremiah from What If They're Wrong podcast. Check that out. Really nice guy. Communicate with him quite a bit. He has actually put me in touch with someone who specializes in tarot as well. So awesome. We could get them on for a chat. And
they're no more than me, without a doubt.
I know literally nothing about tarot, so it'd be your area of expertise, Ash.
God. I've only done it for myself as well. I've never done it for anyone else. I never felt. But it's mad because it's interpretation. And obviously, all the cards have a meaning, but it's the interpretation of it in relating to the questions. But that, again, the way especially when you have like multi-card readings and how they do relate to each other and how they answer the questions, sometimes it's like, that's impossible. Like, it's literally like a perfect answer to. I don't know. Like I say, we can talk about it and maybe do a deep dive, like Mike says.
Yeah, good shout, Mike. So it's Paramike on YouTube, just to clarify, not Paramike 87, Paramike.
If you use a spirit box too long, you supposedly start to hear the voices. I heard enough of them voices. I was like, I'm gone. It's like this woman's being attacked. It is weird. It is. The voice is getting more and more like panicky and scared, and his voice is like deep and yeah. It was horrible.
That was a good night, though. That was a good night. That was at Circle Ring, wasn't it?
Castle Ring.
Castle Ring, sorry. Not Circle Ring. Castle
It's nearly a year ago, that, you know.
I know. That's crazy. That was a good day and night, although it got soaked. But
yeah, absolutely pissed down.
It did. It did. Cool.
Yep, awesome. I think anything else?
Not from me. Just
anything else in the chat before we go?
Don't think so. Been fun again, Ash.
Yep, Abigail's there. Scary night. Yeah, she was.
It was. Yeah,
she was there that night.
Because you said her name as well. Yeah, no, that was good. That's good.
It's mad because like people like skeptical people would be like, well, you would say a name because she's there, so it's like, yeah, It's like, yeah, when you're doing it, you're not even thinking about it because you can't see anything, you can't hear anything apart from this in your ear. You're trying to focus on all your attention and focus. When you have your eyes closed, you know you could blindfold it anyway because you're concentrating. All you're concentrating and focusing on is trying to hear words or phrases or sentences. So not thinking about there's an Abby there that's like stood a few yards away from me. There's a Greg. It's just I heard Abby be said, and I said it. It just so happened to be when you said, "Can you name someone that's here tonight with us?" At that exact, well, like a few moments later, I heard Abby. I didn't even. Don't know.
No, because we've got that on video as well. That's on one of our videos. If you go back through the pages, videos, we've got that on there, haven't we? So you see my reaction to it.
See, Abigail do a spin. She's walking away from me, and then she hears my name, so I'm like, "The fuck."
It was a bit like, what the?
No, not at all, Nick.
Don't think so. No,
I think it's genuine. It's just a genuine discussion like we've had today about different mediums, and like Mike has been, I guess, talking about his mediumship gift, and it's just the topic of discussion now. Like, there's just different interpretations, different experiences that they have. It's a totally fair discussion. Cool. I think that's it.
Oh, and just incidentally, you'll see at the bottom it tells you about where you can get the podcast and hear us and whatnot. And there is one on there called Ghana. Now, might not be anything anybody's heard of before, but it is an Indian podcast provider that we've got our podcast up on. And they are now the third or fourth largest country listenership-wise that listen to the podcast. So big shout out.
Yeah, it's like Spotify, India's version of Spotify.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You can listen to music podcasts on there, and they're like say the biggest media thing in India, and they're now our third biggest country of listenership since we went on Ghana, which is just a bit random. But.
Yeah, it's a bit random, but yeah. So welcome along, anybody who's listening now on Ghana. Cool.
Yeah, nice one. Thanks everyone for dropping by and chatting to us. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, as always. And this is kind of the kind of way we do the podcast as well. We're watching each other. We'll have the guests on, as Mike will attest to. Although we're hopefully slightly more professional at times.
We don't always have a plan. We just I just lie. Don't really plan it. Just let's do it.
No, that's right. Exactly. Sometimes the best things are not planned, Ash. Just spur of the moment, go with it. But yeah, thanks for joining us, everybody. Keep liking and sharing. Oh, and also, now's the time to start voting again for us for the monthly podcast charts on Paranormality magazine.
Yeah, we need to get number one.
Yeah, we need to.
We might be number one this month. We don't know. The results aren't in yet.
They didn't come until the 1st, I think it is. So thanks to anybody who has voted. Thanks to everybody that does vote. And please do vote if you haven't already. You can vote up 3 times on that email address for us, if you wanted to.
Yeah. And we have a new Facebook group.
Yes, we do.
Search for Pursuit of the Paranormal podcast group, or follow the link that's on the screen there, and you can join us. I'm going to be doing some sort of live just for the group. Going to be doing giveaways to sort of chat with the listeners, chat with other listeners, and just join us in the Facebook group.
Definitely. Cool. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, cheers, everyone. Cool. Yep, nice one. See you next time. And don't forget, listen to our latest episode, whichever it is now. Try.